I'm stuck in a haunted house and we have to try to escape it together by reading good books. I'm participating in TBR Harvest this week and I am escaping the haunted house, so I have to get me and my Scooby gang out of this house before disaster strikes and we're stuck in it forever. We do have to start in the attic, so we're gonna go down into the chimney, then to the fireplace, and then from there I'll have a decision to make. If I'm feeling like I'm doing a lot of reading this week, we're gonna go up to the chimney, back into the attic, down into the bedroom, into the living room and escape. But if I'm not feeling like reading from the fireplace, we can get into the living room just to escape. Each room has a prompt for us to read. I'm gonna kind of mood read this week as I go, which means I won't be picking books ahead of time. I'm literally just gonna pick what I'm in the mood for based on that prompt every single time. Our first prompt is to do a prompt from a different readathon, and I am also participating in Spookoplathon this month, so I'm gonna do a roll on Becca's board to get me my first prompt, and then we will get to reading. Today has kind of just been a no bones day. I've just been chilling, but I did start my first read. We got for Bookopoly The Ghost Square, which I believe is something like historical in it. And for me, I decided to start Immortal Dark by Tigest Grumma. Hear me out. What's more historical? What more has a little piece of history than a vampire? He's old. He's literally history himself. This is a dark academia vampire romance. We're following our main character who, in this world, in this city, in a specific city, vampires used to like terrorize humans, but the humans made a deal and were like, what if we worked together? And so humans bond themselves to specific vampires and they each like benefit from it, but it's only like specific families that vampires can then feed off of because they're bonded to that vampire. And our main character is one of those families, but she was taken away out of the city when she was younger. But her sister recently was at the school with the vampires in that city and has gone missing, and our main character thinks that her sister was taken by the vampires and that the vampires are still those cruel creatures that they used to be, and she ends up going back to the city, going back to her house, and being that vampire's companion in order to figure out what actually went down. I am not far in at all. I'm probably only 50 pages. I'm not loving this as much as I thought I would. A lot of people told me that I was going to love this. A lot of people were like, oh my god, it's enemies to lovers, like true enemies. They're gonna banter the entire time. And so I was very excited for this and thought like this was gonna be my book. So far, I'm not invested. I feel like nothing's happening. Her voice in her head is so repetitive. It's very just like spiteful. And I feel like I'm just hearing the same line again and again and again about how she has a confession, but she can't say it until the time is right. And I just like don't care. We have met the vampire. We've had 2 scenes with him and I have liked both those scenes. So I'm hoping that as we get more of those, I will like this book more. My first impression is probably like a 3-star, but there's room to grow. I'm only 50 pages in, but I do have some packages to unbox with you. I was just about to say that I'm surprised the cats hadn't came to terrorize me. And look who arrived. Dance for the camera. Dance, dance. She is an attention hog, and Theo loves attention, but like at very specific times, where Miley is always around and she always wants you to be giving her attention. Okay, this one is the bookish box. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh my god. This edge. I'm so happy I got this. This is really pretty. I really like this sprayed edge. This is the back of the book, and then we have the spine. Oh, come say hi. Look, he's gotten so big. He's like twice the size of her. Hi. Oh my god, this book is stunning. Here's the naked book. Like, isn't that stunning? And look at this end paper. Is it different in the back? We know I love it. It is different in the back. We know we love it when it's different in the back. It's also signed. And there is a reverse dust jacket, but like, why would I reverse that? If anything, I would leave this naked. The details on this are very pretty. I really like this. We also got Arcane Society. I believe that this is the Ever King. We have 2 character cards. It always comes with like a little pin. Oh, this jacket feels really nice. It's like matte feeling. Ooh, I like that. These are gonna look so stunning together. Here is the first book, the spine, the back, and the edge. The second book, the spine, the back, and the edge. Ooh, I think I may reverse these. I really like that, and I like the green. That's really pretty. And the naked book. I've been in my character artwork era. And the Naked Book. End paper. And Everqueen end paper. Also, I don't know if you can see it, but it's signed and there is like pretty artwork there. These are really pretty. Honestly, I really like them naked too. That's it. Those are my little haul for you guys. Hi, sorry I'm literally in the exact same spot I was in our last clip, but I'm getting ready to film my wrap up from the last month and maybe a few other videos. So I figured I would just do this clip while my camera was all set up over here instead of going elsewhere. I switched from the physical book to the audiobook and this made a huge difference for me. I'm really enjoying the audiobook. There was something about the writing style that my head just didn't like to wrap around, but I can listen to it really well. We've also gotten more into like the school setting. I think the first 100 pages could have been cut down a little bit. It's very repetitive in my nature. I think it's trying to set the scene of like our main character absolutely hating the vampires, but like I got it really early on from her. But now we're getting like scenes with more than just her. I think that's a big thing that I really look for in books. I don't want my entire book just to be like two characters. I love the interactions with the outside world and with like friends and stuff. Like I live for friend interactions. Found family is probably one of my favorite things I could read about. And so getting to see her starting to talk to all the students and then him and his like vampires and her like talking to the vampires is really like broadening the scope of the story for me. It's making me care for both of these characters because of how they're interacting with others. I think it's because they hate each other so much that I was having troubles rooting for them. But now that I'm starting to see how they are with their friends and how much their friends love them, I'm like, no, they are good people. I am rooting for them actually. And like, I don't want them to like kill each other, but like I'm now loving the moments of them like going at it because I just realized that they're really good people and they're passionate and they're just like anger is in the wrong direction kind of thing. So I am starting to really enjoy this now that we're in the school setting. We did get like a test which was kind of similar to like a trial. Miley just jumped by like a little bunny. And I liked that test right now that we're in of like having to get an item given to you by a vampire. I thought that was fun. I hope we get more moments like that. Honestly, I liked the quiz. We had a quiz before. I think that there are like kind of like trials in this because like there's like a test for the students and they have to pass their classes and like each thing feels more like a trial. So we're on like the second trial, I guess. And yeah, I'm happy that I'm starting to like this because this morning I thought I was going to DNF it, but I had forgotten that I had the audiobook from Libro in their advanced listening copies, their ALCs. So I'm glad that Mel reminded me that I had that because I would have DNF'd this, I think, and I'm happy that I didn't at this point. I am really enjoying it. Now to film my wrap up. I actually read less than I thought I did last month because I read so much in this like last week, first week of this month. I forgot where my cutoff was. Sometimes I just don't feel like filming, and this week has been one of those energy weeks, but sometimes you gotta do work even though you don't necessarily want to. I'll keep you updated. Literally the second I went to film this, Miley started eating her food. But like I can't blame her because snacks are delicious and food is delicious. I have been snacking on these for the last couple days. I'm obsessed with them. They're so good. Oh, speak of the devil, do you want to say hi? She hates saying hi. She absolutely hates being held. It's an animal cracker with chocolate and like peanut butter on it, like a Reese's animal cracker. It's so good and it crunches so good. Like, did you hear that crunch? I've made it 60% into this book. And I'm so sad because there was a while where I switched the audiobook and I was like, oh my god, is this book gonna be 5 stars? Do I actually love it? And then I wrote a high for a while. And now I'm in a slump again and I'm just like, this book is like a roller coaster. It's like ups and downs, ups and downs. There's some parts I absolutely love about it. And there's some parts where I'm so bored. The atmosphere can be so good. And then sometimes I'm just like, what are we even doing? What is even going on? Why are we here? Why do I care about this character? And then some parts are so good. And I'm like, oh my god, give me more of this. So like, I don't know where my feelings land on this one. I'm gonna take a bit of a break. I'm pretty close to being done. I have about 2 hours of listening time in the audiobook. But I'm gonna catch up on Dancing with the Stars, I think. Because I'm behind on last night's episode. And then tonight I have Vampire Diaries with my patrons. And then I want to watch tonight's episode. It was like a double-decker week and we got 2 episodes. If you're watching it, let me know who you're rooting for. I don't have like a specific person, like celebrity that I'm rooting for this year. Like last year I was rooting for Ariana, but this year I think I'm rooting for the pros more, as like last year was my first year watching. I love Daniela and I love Riley, but I think who I am predicting to win is Brandon, and I do like Brandon as well, but like Daniela as a pro is amazing. Also I love Val, but Val won last year, so I'm not rooting for him because like it can go to someone else this year. Yeah, so there's that. And Vampire Diaries, we're starting season 6 and season 2 of Originals. But season 6 of TVD is a good season, especially at the beginning. So my patrons are in for it. The people that have never seen it before, I'm so excited to see their reactions. I have been obsessed with dirty sodas. This is a drink that originated in Utah. It's essentially a soda of your choice. Mine are preferably Dr. Pepper, Coke, or Pepsi. You add like a little mix-in of flavor. I am boring typically and use vanilla, but I've also had mango before in my Dr. Pepper one, and it's delicious. And then you add coffee creamer or like half and half cream, just like some kind of cream to it. It tastes like a milkshake. Like honestly, I don't think I've had a soda in the last like 3 weeks without it being a dirty soda. Like it's so good. If I lived in Utah, I would 100% be going to Swig to order this all the time. I kind of wish we had a place where I could order them now. We have like a food truck that was doing it, and that's kind of how I tried it. Like I knew it was a thing from like TikTok and the Mormon Secret Life of Mormon Wives TV show. But we had a food truck come start doing them, and so we drove to this food truck to try them. I say food, it was a drink truck technically, and it was delicious, and now I'm obsessed. Anyways though, I finished the Immortal Dark. There's no the. Immortal Dark. I'm giving this 3 stars. I have very, very, very mixed feelings about this one. There are some 5-star moments within the story for me. Some moments I really, really, really loved, and some moments that I was just so bored in. It does have a pretty cool atmosphere, but I think something about the writing just never really stuck for me. Something about the characters didn't really work for me. I was never invested in their relationship. I was invested in the mystery that's happening at this school, but never the two of them together. My cat is attacking tomatoes because there's fruit flies in them, and he's obsessed with fly hunting. I think I will continue this and read book 2 when it comes out, but also I said that about 9th House, and I have yet to continue 9th House. So maybe Dark Academia just doesn't work for me. I'm just really struggling to figure out what I didn't love about this one, because there were parts that I loved, and I'm like, why was it not all like this? Like what changed? And I think I loved the moments of the school setting and didn't love the moments of the two of them. I wanted more school tests, really. But that does get us out of the attic and we are into the chimney. For this one, I have to pick up a dark cover, and why not continue the vampire trend that we're going on right now, because I'm obsessed with vampires, and read So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison. This is a horror book following our main character. Her partner is a walking, talking red flag. She's pretty sure that he is cheating on her again, and when he books her a surprise birthday getaway with her best friend, she's pretty sure he just wants to get laid while she's gone. But she goes on this trip with her best friend and she lets loose, where they end up coming across some vampires, and we have to figure out what that means for them. I have read Rachel Harrison before, and I'm expecting this to be a conversation on being a woman. I feel like all of her books seem to discuss that in some way. They tend to be a little more literary, a little bit more comedy horror, but I really, really liked Black Sheep and I gave that 5 stars, so I'm hoping that this hits that way. However, I'm currently 100 pages into this and I'm bored. We literally just got to the part of the vampire, so I'm hoping that this book takes off from there, but this setup was so frustrating. I think currently I'm really looking for books where like I relate or I'm rooting for the main character, which may be why this didn't work for me, because our main character is very brash in this, but not in a way that related to me. This character is just very, very annoying. Like her being in her head literally is like nails on a chalkboard for me. Like I want out of this head so badly. Like every little thought she has is so insecure or like settling, and I absolutely despise it. But I also think that's probably very relatable to a lot of women, and like settling for something when you are better than that, and knowing that and being insecure about your choices and things like that. So like I understand why a lot of people would love this, and I'm hoping I will continue to love it. Sometimes I can love a book where like a main character just makes me go but I'm not sure I'm in that mood currently. But I'm gonna continue this. I'm hoping the action starts to pick up with the vampires. Right now it's been very little horror besides it being horrifying being in this main character's head. I'm in charge of dinner tonight and we are going to try something new. It could really flop. I really just wanted to like try a new recipe, and it's soup season, so we're gonna try and make a ravioli soup. I've been seeing tortellini soup everywhere, and we have fresh raviolis, and I feel like same but different, so I'm gonna try that and I'm really excited for it. I hope it's delicious.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in old conversations, oh. Cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken. Cause you glue all the pieces back together.
I'm just over halfway into So Thirsty, so I figured I would do a little update for you. But also, the soup I made tonight, absolutely to die for. 10 out of 10. Amazing. I will be eating this on repeat. My dad said this tastes like restaurant quality soup. So, very impressed. I just followed a recipe, so I had to take credit for it. I will leave the recipe link down below if I can find it again. I'm bad for that. But it is also on my Instagram story highlight under food. The recipe is there. It was so good and delicious. I can't explain how much I loved this. And I wasn't expecting to. I was expecting to like it, but not a 10 out of 10. That was so good. Chef's kiss. I want to eat it again. I almost went back for a third bowl, but I was so full, but I was just I just want more. We put ravioli in it because we had fresh ravioli, but technically it's a tortellini soup. But honestly, I think any kind of pasta would work really well for it. Or should I say pasta for you posh states people? It's pasta in Canada though. Because we say past, not past. Duh. I don't know why I said that. Okay, well, I am liking this a little bit more now that we're into the vampire part, but I feel like being halfway through this book, not a lot has happened, and I still hate being in the main character's head, so I don't think I'm going to love this book. I think it's going to be a 3.5. I don't know, there's just something that's not working for me in it. I wish I was more disturbed. I think what is supposed to be the horror in a lot of Rachel Harrison's books is the things the woman is going through, not necessarily the horror itself. The horror just adds to that. But I want to have a little bit of an unknown element to this, which in Black Sheep I feel like we got. We didn't fully know the extent of everything in Black Sheep, and I feel like in these stories, I just kind of know what's what, and then I feel like nothing happens. Because really it's a conversation on womanhood and our main character's desires and anti-desires and things she's going through that is supposed to be the horror part of it. What does that say about us as women, that we think our thoughts and feelings can be horror? Getting older as a woman is horror for a lot of us, or I don't know, our feelings, things like that. I don't know. This whole genre is something very interesting to me, of pink horror. But yeah, I'm gonna update you at the end, I think, next for this one. I just am not sure that this is gonna be for me, and I'm sad because I loved Black Sheep so much, but I'm starting to realize that Rachel Harrison may not be the next favorite author of mine. I'm really a story person, not an author person. I have to remind myself that all of the time. Last night I did finish So Thirsty. Also, I've been thinking I need to go paint another coffee cup. Maybe a winter themed one that would match this. Even though I hated this, it's grown on me. But I did finish So Thirsty last night. I honestly have mixed feelings on this one as well. Similar to the last book, there were things I loved about this book, and there were times that I was just so utterly bored. The thing that I've learned about Rachel Harrison books is there's not a lot of horror in them. Black Sheep had the most, and I think that's why I liked it. But for the most part, her stories and the supernatural elements of them are a symbol, a metaphor for what's going on in the main character's life. For example, in this one, she's so thirsty because she's a vampire and she needs blood. But the thing is that she's thirsty for another life. She wants to be different than she is. She's thirsty to break free from the scared person that she is, and she has to embrace herself and love herself as a vampire in order to accept this thirst and have this thirst go away. She has to love herself in order to be confident and not be insecure all the time. And truly this is pink horror in my opinion. It is about girlhood, womanhood, and that is the horror elements of it, is how we relate to it. There was some body horror in this, but not a lot, and I liked the body horror elements, but I just wish we had gotten more. The scene with an old lady is my favorite scene in this entire book. I thought it was the most well done, and I felt disturbed during that. I'm giving it a 3-star. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. I think I will continue to try Rachel Harrison, but I'm not sure anything will ever beat Black Sheep. Black Sheep just made me feel on the edge of my seat the entire time because I was suspecting what was going on, and there was just this deeply gothic atmosphere about it that worked for me. I don't know. I feel like this lacked horror for me. Also, as an older main character, and I don't always relate to older main characters. I mean, I'm 27, so sometimes it's harder for me to like understand what older women are going through. I haven't been there yet in my life, where I think if you could, you would like this more than I did. I found our main character insufferable. I found the friendship in this really toxic. I think when I say toxic, people think that it's just like a bad relationship, but they both wanted the best for each other. That's not what I mean, but your situation, your behavior, the way the other person makes you act can still be toxic, even if you're trying to do the best for each other. And so I don't think I ever rooted for their friendship, and I think at the core of the story was supposed to be rooting for their friendship and to get through their problems. I, as a romantic girly, ate up the moments with Henry. I loved those moments. I really liked Henry, but also I felt like the motivations for Henry and his friends were lacking. I think that this needed a little bit more depth to it for me and a little bit more horror, but I didn't hate it. We are moving on to our next pick, which I think, let me pull up the haunted house map. We have exited the chimney and we are now going into the fireplace. Someone lit the fire. Do you climb back the way you came or continue down and face the flames? In order to escape the fireplace, we have to do a series read, and then we can choose whether we go up the chimney again or into the living room. I think I'm Delulu, and I'm gonna try to read a book all today. It is 10 a.m. I'm going to try and finish one book today, but I'm going to start a series. Listen, it doesn't say I have to continue a series. It just says a series. So I think I'm going to start a series. I'm just making this vlog vampire themed because there's a lot of vampire books I want to read and it just somehow happened. So we're gonna read Embers in the Snow, which is about an arranged marriage. This girl, her dad goes to the king and tries to get her an arranged marriage. It turns out that the arranged marriage is to the king's son, which is unheard of because she is a peasant. She is not high up, so this shouldn't have happened. The thing is, the king's son is brutal. He's dangerous. He is said to be bloodthirsty. Something happened. He went to war and it changed him. And I'm excited to see what that means. I love a little forced proximity, a little arranged marriage. I love a little blood drinking scene. I'm hoping we get those. I love a sad boy that is cocky and maybe sometimes a little bit mean because he's sad and he's just, no one understands him. So I'm hoping this has all of those things. Last night we did take the cats to the pet store. I have so much to tell you guys today. We've taken them to the pet store a few times. We're trying to like socialize them. The vet just said this was a really good idea, and with our last cats, it was really hard to like go to the vet or anything like that because they hated the car so much. So we've been trying to like take them for car rides and things like that. You're going for a trip in our favorite rocket ship. They do pretty well in the car, and they have done really well in pet stores. Like, we have a little harness and they walk around. It's really cute. We went to a bigger pet store last night because we wanted to go really late so that there wouldn't be any dogs or anything in there. Poor Theo was so scared. He was just shaking. Like, my mom thought he was gonna pee on her, so she handed him to me. Not because she wanted him to pee on me, but like, I am his person. So she was hoping that that would help him, but he was just so scared and shaking. And there was these two kids who were cute, but like, they were running around the pet store and they kept scaring them. And I felt so bad. So we're gonna go back to the smaller pet store. They're not ready for the big pet store. But Miley did great. She is courageous. She will go wherever, but Theo is a bit of a scaredy cat. But he's so cute and sweet. I am 20% in currently, and I'm having a great time. This is probably just a fun time read. Like, there's nothing super serious to take about it. But at this point, I'm vibing, and I love that because I feel like I've been in a bit of a slump since finishing the Bonded by Thorns series. We're like catching up to it. Those were so good. I've been in a book hangover, and I think that's part of the reason why I haven't been liking books. So the fact that I am vibing so hard with this is really exciting for me. He is instantly protective and possessive of her, and it works so well for me. I wouldn't say it's like insta love, but he has like a reason for his insta attraction because of the blood drinking. Apparently, like, females specifically, he like craves their blood, and he's been like avoiding females, and then she comes and she's like right in front of him, barely dressed, and he's like and a blood drinking scene so quick into the book. I was vibing. Why is there a Gatorade bottle behind me? That needs to go to the bottle depot. I'm liking their two characters. She is spunky, and I like that. She seems to be able to fight for herself. We've had some family interactions, both good and bad, and I think we're definitely seeing that he is a good person. Right off the bat, they're not pretending that he's this big bad person. He is this good prince who will do anything for the land that he now inhabits, but he's done bad things to protect protect them, but his people are going to be so loyal to him. And I just like, I'm really, really liking this setup. I'm vibing, I'm having fun. And so I'm excited to continue and to finish this. And hopefully I'll be screaming the entire time. Is it me? It must be me at this point. I am DNFing this. I am 53% into this book. Last update, I was so excited because I was vibing so hard with this. I don't know how a book changes so much in 25%. Honestly, I just don't care, and I found myself bored. It seems to be a trend right now. I think it's me. I'm not sure. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard. Like, is it me or is it the book? I like to blame myself, but often if I picked up a book that I was gonna love, I would still love it even if I was in the mood like this. So like, I don't know. I think the thing with this was once the romance started, they automatically were very sweet. I think this will work for a lot of people. There are secrets that have been kept from them, and when the other one finds anything out, they're very open, they're very honest with each other. They are careful with each other, and like, there's no banter, there's nothing like that. And if you know me, I'm a banter girly, an enemies to lovers girly. And I thought that yes, he was gonna be like this sweet boy that is like not bad, even though everyone thinks he's bad, but that we'd still get this like rough exterior, especially because the synopsis like pings him as this like big bad son of the king that is scary. We don't get any of that, and I think I just felt like this ended up being lackluster. It's also standalone and 52% into the book. I have no idea what the plot is. Like, none whatsoever. And that's questionable. So I've decided to DNF this. I am on a search for a good vibe book, and I'm going to not be afraid to DNF this month. That is key Cassidy right now. I am going to count this as my escape from the fireplace, since I did try it and I made a decent way through, which means that we are going out the fireplace, and I am not reading as much as I wanted to be, so we're going to go straight into the living room. And for the living room, you can see the door, but what is that crawling from under the couch? We have to enter blindly, which I think we're not supposed to know a lot about the book. On trend for our vampire theme, I'm going to be picking up Court of Nightmares by K.A. Knight. It's a vampire book, and I know literally nothing about it. I was running out of skips for Bookish and got it, and it's stunning. So, should we read the synopsis together for the first time? There are many things that go bump in the night, and I am one of them. As a vampire who was born to fulfill a prophecy, my life was planned before I was created. I obeyed every rule, and I became the perfect vampire. But one night changed everything. Rejected by the man who was destined for me, who was supposed to love me forever, I do the only thing I can. I flee into the night, nursing my broken heart. Being a rejected mate corrupts the soul, and in this game of courts and kings, nobody wins. Nobody except the monsters in the shadows, the monsters that save me, welcome me, and make me one of them. Welcome to the Court of Nightmares, where all your wicked dreams come true. We're entering blindly into this book. Well, not blindly because now I read the synopsis, but when I picked it, it was blindly. I'm gonna hope that we love this one. I started this last night. I have no words. This is literally a train wreck that you just can't look away from. I keep thinking about DNFing it, and then I keep just being like, but what if? And I just keep giggling and laughing at every situation. Oh my gosh. It was kind of funny because I was reading it and I'm buddy reading it with Mel and Claire, and I texted them and said, this reminds me of Den of Vipers. Like this like writing that like I had to know what was happening, but it was absolutely atrocious, awful. And then Mel goes, well, it's the same author. I didn't know. I don't know if I have enough words to tell you why I'm still reading this. There is like a cool world happening in this. So essentially, vampires are not made, they're born. However, on your 16th birthday, you go through a changing and you die, and either you come back a vampire if you're strong or you're weak and you die forever. And then on their 18th birthday, they're introduced to the court and they're trying to find their mate. And our main character, on her 18th birthday, she's introduced to her court and she looks up and she realizes the king is her mate. However, he says, no, you're not. I refuse to be connected to someone. I refuse to be bound by a mating bond. And he rejects her. And vampires in this world feed off other vampires. Once you're mated, there's like this need to feed off each other. Since he rejects this bond, she is left hungry because since he's the king, he like kind of says no one can let her feed from them. So she kind of just runs away, and humans they can feed from, but they don't get sustenance from. So she ends up just like in a pit of despair, feeding off humans and just slowly dying because she's not getting any sustenance. When she is kidnapped and taken to the Court of Nightmares, in where she is judged for her crimes against humanity, which is where we meet the 7 other men. I think there's 7 men in this, who all instantly love her and want to please her and pleasure her. I don't think they knew anything else besides pleasure her for the next however long. I should DNF this. I really should. But I just can't bring myself to. I think I'm just happy I'm not bored. I feel like this entire video, every book I've been telling you that I've been bored, and maybe reading this atrociously written book will get me out of my bored slump. And maybe the next books after this will feel so good because this is so bad. But like, I'm giggling. Like, the scenes are so funny. That's my life at this moment in time. Also, this edition is stunning, so I'm really sad that I feel this way, because I don't think I can keep this on my shelf, even though, like, that is absolutely breathtaking. And, like, there is this cool world that I told you about, and the plot is essentially the Court of Nightmares are, they're sentenced to rid the world of evil, and so they're gonna do that. But I don't think we're gonna get much of that. We're just gonna get them trying to spread their babies everywhere on her. I am probably only 10% more into this book than I was last time we talked, but I'm officially DNFing. Listen, we've gone through some crazy shit in the first 30% of this book. I have seen her think about fucking a spider. Like a spider. The spider puts its webs around her and she thinks it's really, like, hot that it's essentially putting handcuffs on her with its spider web. She thinks some dirty, dirty thoughts. And one of the men turn into a spider. It's not just, like, a random spider, but it's still a spider. Like, she's thinking about the spider form. I have watched her literally be eaten out by a snake. And I didn't stop there. Neither of those scenes, I was like, I should DNF this. Well, I'm lying to you. I thought about DNFing at either of those scenes, but I didn't officially be like, I am DNFing. The scene that does it for me, actually, it's not even that scene, but I keep thinking about how I'm gonna get this scene eventually. She gets her period, and then they talk about how it's really, like, incredible. It's like this really sacred thing to drink the period blood of your mate. It doesn't happen, but because we got that, I think it's gonna happen later on into this book. And I have realized I may not be the dark romance girly that I thought I was. Because I don't want that. But I also did not stop right away. I kept going, and then I just kept thinking about how that scene was gonna exist and how I was already bored by the smut. The crazy things have already happened. We're either just gonna get crazier and I'm just gonna be like laughing and cringing so hard, or I'm just not gonna care. And I don't really care at this point either, because like I'm not fetishizing a snake licking my insides. Like, that scene was not hot for me. I just laughed at it because it was so like disturbing. But at the end of the day, I think the real reasons I'm DNFing this is the lack of depth to it. I think there is a really cool world in here. I think there's actually a really cool plot, but the characters lack any definition. The second they see her, they're all over her. They're running together in my head. There's 7 men. That's already a lot to keep track of, but considering they sound exactly the same, one's more tortured than the other, but they're all tortured. The only one I can remember is the spider and the snake guy. They stand out to me. I wonder why. I'm finding myself not caring. It's like the smallest sentence of plot in between paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of smut that I don't care about. I'm not a smut reader. I like smut when it's intentional and it adds to the story and their chemistry and stuff like that, but this is just smut for smut. And for some people that's really gonna work. The other thing that I think for some people really work is the men themselves. For me, I'm looking for my characters to be real and raw and like feel like real people. To me, this feels like a woman's wet dream. That's not a bad thing. It feels like the way we want men to speak to us, but not in a realistic way. Like, they are telling us all the right things, but there's never a wrong thing, and I feel like that is so unrealistic. What I loved about the Bonded by Thorns series was how angry I got at characters. Characters messed up and you felt for them and you were angry for them, but then you were ready to watch them like grovel or like change. How did a plane have to fly over as I was talking? It's so long. That's something they'd say in this book. In Bonded by Thorns, you're just watching characters struggle and be like real humans. In this, I feel like I'm watching an interpretation of what we want men to be. They're saying all the right things. Sometimes that gives me the ick, to be honest, because like it's not real. I love my partner for his best qualities, but also the flaws within him. And I don't know, they just like are always just like praising her at all times. And they do have flaws because they're nightmares, but turning into a snake isn't a real flaw, in my opinion. It's a made up flaw. Humans don't turn into snakes normally to lick you places. So for me, that's a struggle. That's something I just personally don't like. I know a lot of people do love things like that. They just love to read about like men worshiping you, and like I want there to be some depth to your character other than just existing to be my sex toy. I'm DNFing this and it's so hard because I don't want to get rid of this. This is one of the prettiest books I've ever owned. So this is so freaking sad. But you know, such is life, I guess. I'll never know if there actually is a period drinking scene in this, and I will not lose sleep over that. Actually, I kind of do want to know, so if anyone's read this, let me know down below. With that, we have escaped. We are out the front door of our haunted house with our Scooby gang, and everyone is safe and sound. It's not too late to participate in TBR Harvest, so I'll leave the announcement video linked down below. I am stopping this vlog to start right now. My cats pick my TBR, and I'm very excited about that. But if you would like to hang out more on my channel, I'll leave my Spookopathon vlog on the screen for you to go check out. Thank you for reading vampire books with me. Leave some recommendations down below. Leave me a vampire emoji of some sort if you just want to tell me you were here, and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.